Disclaimer: I do not own the clips or music shown. These are used for review and entertainment purposes. Thank you. Gap House and Gap House. It's me, Camden, on Channel Cam. So, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everyone knows what the MCU is, or the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is what brought most of the Marvel characters to the mainstream, besides Hulk, Spider-Man, or maybe even the X-Men. Today I want to go back to where the MCU started, Phase 1, because each few movies is separated in a few phases. You know, there's Phase 1 from Iron Man all the way to Avengers, Phase 2 from Iron Man 3 to Ant-Man, and Phase 3, which is from Civil War to Endgame, well, Spider-Man Far From Home. And now we're in the middle of Phase 4 right now. So I want to go back to talking about the beginnings of the MCU, from Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, and Captain America the First Avenger, and the Avengers. So, let's go ahead and begin. So back in the 90s, Marvel wasn't really making that many movies. Or not even DC besides some Batman movies, or Steel. So there were many animated shows such as X-Men, Spider-Man, or Silver Surfer. But then in the late 90s, Marvel was going through bankruptcy, which led to the cancellation of shows such as X-Men and Spider-Man. And my man Steve Rogers looked like this in the comics for a while. So then, Marvel sold some of their character rights, such as X-Men to Fox, and the Fantastic Four to Fox, Spider-Man to Sony, and Punisher to Lionsgate, and the Hulk to Universal, and many other characters. And then, there was an X-Men film made back in 2000 by Bryan Singer. And then, there was the Spider-Man film directed by Sam Raimi, which made a lot of money and gave a lot of Marvel some money. And then it seemed like the rise of comic book movies were coming back again. And then, you know, that Spider-Man movie got 2 more sequels, and it eventually gave us this. All 3 of those movies are cinema, though. Those movies are beautiful. I love all 3 of them. And then the X-Men movies led to the infamous moment. Yes, I used a clip from one of my videos. So, Marvel felt it was the time to make some lesser-known characters finally have their own movies. And Marvel was still struggling. They were trying to make their own studios and everything. And people also weren't really believing in an Iron Man movie. So then they got Jon Favreau to direct and Robert Downey Jr. to star as Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. And then...
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
And the rest was history. So there you go. Iron Man, released in 2008, and it got a lot of money. And it released in the same year as The Dark Knight, which made more money, but still, this made a lot. And then, this was the beginning of a great future. Basically, you know what it's about. Tony Stark, being traumatized by being kidnapped by terrorists, tries to break free, and then makes his own suit. And later on, has redemption from being arrogant and selfish to try to help others. Robert Downey Jr. does a great job as Tony Stark. It's like no one else can play Tony. It's like how Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. You can see no one else playing that character. And yeah, it has great effects, and the costumes and the armor looks great. And it can really show how someone can rise from being selfish and arrogant to being someone who genuinely want to help others. Also, this dude is here.
So it's the technology. William,
Here is the technology. Okay, sir, that's what we're trying to do, but honestly, it's impossible.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave! With a box of scraps!
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
But when you think the movie is over when Tony Stark told the world that he's Iron Man, nope. I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. And there you go, which shows what will be one of the most legendary movie mid-credit scenes of all time. Nowadays, I see mid-credit scenes in a lot of movies. I gotta find Sonic! Whee! Also from earlier, Ironmonger. Yeah, in the early MCU days, the heroes were great. The villains were mostly underdeveloped. They're basically, I'm evil, I'm gonna take over the world. I have an Iron Man suit, but I'm the bad Iron Man. I'm the bad Iron. I can shrink to the size of an ant, like Ant-Man, but I'm the bad Ant-Man. That's different. I'm the bad Ant-Man. Hey, I can do magic powers like Doctor Strange, but I'm the bad Doctor Strange. Yeah, he was just there to sell toys and for Iron Man to punch him. And there you go. Also next is the other one. So, The Incredible Hulk, it also came out in 2008, having Edward Norton starring as Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk. And you already know who the Hulk was. Hulk was already pretty popular before the MCU, unlike some characters such as Iron Man or the Guardians of the Galaxy. And yeah, there's my info. Also, Phil Dunphy from Modern Family is here. And yeah, there's also William Hurt as Thunderbolt Ross, and Betty Ross is there. Probably Bruce Banner and Betty Ross will probably be together forever. Not. And while some fans don't really like the movie, some like it. Me, the CGI in the Hulk isn't bad, though it's a little too darker. I wish it could be a little more of a lighter CGI. Also, the CGI is good though. It makes it believable that the Hulk is there tearing up tanks and tearing up cars and stuff like that. And also, the villain of this... No, that's not. That is not Abomination. Oh, wait. That is... Oh. Never mind, he's redeemed. Then they have a big fight in the city and...
Suddenly, deja vu, and then he became a monthly freak too.
Kinda wish I had killed him.
And then there. So, the Hulk is coming back later on, right? Yes, but not in the way you think. I'll get to that later. So, a year later, Disney bought Marvel.
Gather everyone from far and near. Put away your ammo, smokes, and beer. No more adolescent angst or fear. Now we're obligated to bring cheer. Now the Hulk's emotions all are shared. Iron Man is drunk off of fresh air. Dr. Doom believes in playing fair. Punisher is braiding Logan's hair. Too much violence can be bad taste. So Ghost Rider gives out free cupcakes. Spider-Man will dance and Wolverine sings. Iron Man wears a purity ring. We're a happy family for kids, 'cause we all forgot who Deadpool is. Say goodbye to heroes who are tough. We can never play it safe enough.
And a year later, Iron Man 2, Electric Boogaloo. Iron Man 2, which is a sequel to the first Iron Man. Most of the cast is back. Mostly. I'll get to that in a bit. And with some new characters. And it shows more Nick Fury and Scarlett Johansson as the Black Widow. The film deals with Tony Stark having to deal with his secret identity being revealed to the world. And yeah, there you go. And Rhodey dons the War Machine armor. And these two look different. They look different. He looks different from the first one. Did he get a haircut? Did he I don't know. I'll ask him. And this movie, well, it's not bad, but it has some flaws. But I do really enjoy it. And it also has more Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, which is my favorite version of Nick Fury, and people don't really talk about it that much. And it has Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, and here she's there. And yeah, this movie, it suffers from being having too many subplots and having too many characters, kind of like Spider-Man 3. Well, how did this movie handle it? Well, overall, it's not bad, but it's pretty enjoyable to watch. Also, it has another mid-credit scene. Thor was released in 2011, having Chris Hemsworth as Thor and Tom Hiddleston as Loki, which has his own spin-off show that's having episodes right now. This is where Thor is full of arrogance, so it leads to him being banned from Asgard to going to Earth, meeting Padme Amidala. My thoughts on it? Well, the first and third acts are more interesting. The second one is just Thor wandering around Earth with Padme Amidala. So, Chris Hemsworth as Thor is pretty good casting. Just like Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. With Thor, I can't really see anyone else playing him besides Chris Hemsworth. Here, Chris Hemsworth is very good as Thor. Later on, he gets even better and better and better as he becomes more experienced. And Tom Hiddleston is very good as Loki. And Loki, well, this brung a lot of fangirls. And yeah, there you go. Anthony Hopkins is good as Odin, though Odin is a terrible father. And he waited till now to tell Loki he's adopted. Wait a second. I think all Marvel characters need some sort of therapy. He needs therapy. For being president of the United States, oh Lord, she definitely needs therapy. And yeah, overall, Thor is not a bad film, though the second act is less interesting than the first and third act. Overall, it's not bad, but it's not something I would, rewatch. Captain America First Avenger was released in 2011, starring Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, aka Captain America. It's about a scrawny man named Steve Rogers, who no one believes in because he wants to fight in the war. But then later on, under a science experiment, he gets to be Captain America and fight in the war. This isn't Mr. Evans' first time in a comic book movie. He was Johnny Storm. Casey Jones, which when I found that out when I was a kid, I thought that was awesome having Captain America as Casey Jones. And this dude. I looked online and it seems like before this film, no one had faith having Chris Evans as Captain America. People just saw him as the goofball that was in Fantastic Four, not him being Captain America. But then after the movie came out, everyone was surprised. Which is a lesson that you should never doubt a comic book role, because Hugh Jackman was announced to be Wolverine, everyone was hating on him. Turned out to be the best Wolverine ever. Same thing with Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and what did that turn out? Chris Evans does a great job as Captain America. He shows the symbolism of truth and freedom. And before Spider-Man got into the MCU, Tony and Steve were my favorite Avengers. This dude who needs to put on some lotion and some sunscreen. Overall, it's not a bad movie. It's one of the best of Phase 1. I need to stop stuttering. Now it's time for the big crossover. Many known characters in pop culture finally come together and get to interact with each other, and it's amazing. It turns out to be Cartoon All-Stars. Avengers was a movie that was released in 2012, having all of our heroes come together and meet, except for, Spider-Man and the X-Men. But, yeah. And it has Tony Stark as Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Hawkeye, and Black Widow. And they fight Loki. Something like this was never really done before. A team of superheroes come together from different films. Sure, you had the X-Men or the Fantastic Four, but they were made together, unlike the Avengers. And everyone was excited for this movie to come out, and it turned out to be great. Me as a kid was really amazed at this, seeing all these superheroes interact with each other and meet, except for Spider-Man. Also, Spider-Man, at the same time, Spider-Man had that cartoon on Disney XD, voiced by Mr. Drake. I ruined my whole career by talking to underage minors and endangering children, and now I'm going to jail, and Josh Peck is mad at me right now. Bell. At that time, and even now, people love this movie as much as EDP loves cupcakes. And yeah, I rewatched this movie and it really holds up. Well, it's not the best Avengers movie because you catch my drift. Also, Bruce Banner looks different. Do you look different? Do you? I think it's the hair. I think they had a different haircut. I don't know, probably a different outfit or something. They're probably wearing contacts or something, I don't know. And the movie was wonderfully put together by none other than the Russo brothers. Yes, that's right, they directed all 4 Avengers movies. No one else did whatsoever. But nuh-uh, there's a mid-credit scene.
They are not cowardly wretches we were promised. They are not rude and therefore cannot.
So yeah, there's phase 1 of the Avengers, well, the MCU. And that was just the beginning. Overall, it's not a bad start. Well, some of the films in here seems a little rushed just to get to the Avengers. Well, it's because they had a rush production. But overall, these 6 films aren't bad. Iron Man, very good. Incredible Hulk, fine. Iron Man 2. It's very enjoyable. Thor. First and third acts are pretty good, but the second act is less interesting. Captain America First Avenger. Pretty good movie. Avengers. Great. And yeah, will I talk about Phase 2 or Phase 3? I might. Someday. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Hope you like, comment, and subscribe.